This is part 2 of the review of my short, One Night Cheat. Today I want to focus more on the production process and how it went down when we actually shot the movie. So if you haven't seen part 1, where I go over the plot and characters, or if you haven't watched the short itself, you can check it out via the link that's in the description. So the whole movie was shot very quickly, in only 2 days. And pretty much the only reason why that was is because the rental shop where I got lighting equipment ran a promo where if you rent it past noon, you get the rest of the day for free. So that's what we did. And so we had a whole evening and a whole day after that. And at first that felt like way too much time. I was certain we'd be done before dark on the second day, and I'd feel good about the whole thing. I mean, the script is just a couple pages long, and we only had one real location. But what I quickly realized, and what most people experience shooting anything, and why it's such a demanding process, is that if you want things done correctly, it takes time. And that was definitely the thing I underestimated the most. So finally, we're there, we have all our gear, everyone's arrived, and we start setting the shots. And we want to make sure things look clean, so we didn't rush anything. When I was happy about the look, we did a couple takes, we stopped, did adjustments, we worked the scene, and a few more takes. The whole process felt good. But then I finally looked at the time, and it had already been 3 hours on just that one single setup. So now my mind is racing. I'm starting to think of all the shots we still have, wondering if it's worth it to pay for a whole extra day on the equipment, which I told myself I wouldn't do. So I'm starting to panic. Now, a lot of shots we had missing angles, and some parts I had to just cut out. It was really messy. And the end result, unfortunately, was that the pacing and shot planning that I had in place just didn't work like it was supposed to. Here's an example I had to work with. So in the opening where Tony and Jackie are arguing, the transition was really simple. We went from this angle to that one. But here was my problem. We only had done 2 takes, and the other one I had a bike sound halfway through, so we had to cut. But when we went to the other one, Tony had a different pose. And then the whole transition between the two wouldn't work. And we could have used audio from the take I didn't like as much to cover the bike sound. But the emotion felt different, so I thought it wouldn't work as well. Now, to find a solution, luckily for us, the shots were all static, so a lot could be done. The way I went about it is I split the image in 2. One of Jackie as she talks, one of Tony as he had his arm up. I cut the last few seconds of him doing that and replayed it, but this time backwards. That way he would raise his arm and lower it. All the while, Jackie kept talking. Slice them back up together, keep the second take from before, that was good, and that's the end result. And that was only one shot. There were a bunch of others that required me to get creative. Hopefully these aren't too noticeable in the short. Now afterwards, when I was talking with people about that shoot, the thing I heard the most was, oh, you just needed more time to prep, more time writing down things and drawing what things would look like. But here's the thing, I did do those things. I sketched out and I planned and I had a whole list of shots and angles. But when we actually got there and looked around and set up the way we thought made sense, it seemed like there was always tiny differences that would make you go, well, it probably made more sense if we set it up this way or move this thing to over there. And I guess it's kind of this thing where you get used to as you do more shoots, and that I was not really expecting. And so to me, it kind of felt there is no one way of getting a shot done correctly. It's equal parts preparation and mitigation. And that is my biggest takeaway producing my first short movie. And if I had to do it over again, I would tell myself to trust in knowing if something needed to be improvised or if keeping to the plan made more sense in that moment. Now looking back, I'm happy to have had a sort of a bumpy time for my first shoot, because hopefully I can now use all that I've learned to better prepare and make my next experience on a set smoother and more confident and clearer for myself, but also for the crew that I'll have. And I believe I've already done that on my latest shoot. But more importantly, I hope that I can learn to not just hide flaws, but also embrace them and use them when showing what real life looks like on screen. Just the way it is for all of us in our daily lives. Uneven, unpredictable, but at the same time contained and true. And to use both preparation but spontaneousness as well to create better art. I hope you enjoyed the second part of the behind the scenes look at my first short film. Please subscribe for other film content that I'll be uploading in the future. Thanks for watching.